everyone, welcome to my Persian Corner. My name is Panta, and today we have a fairly quick lesson on how to talk about obligation in Persian using Bâyad plus the subjunctive form. So we're going to look at how to form the subjunctive today. Before we get started, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do take a moment to hit the subscribe button. It's right beneath this video. Next to it, there's a bell that you can also hit to be notified whenever I release a new video. You can select if you want to be notified for all of the videos or just for some of them. But it's a great way to support this channel and these free Persian lessons for everyone, and it'll really help these videos be seen more in YouTube. So thank you for that. Okay, so let's get started with our grammar of obligation in Persian. با چند تا مثال شروع کنیم. این هفته کار زیاد دارم. باید برم خرید. I have a lot of work this week. I have to go shopping. باید آپارتمانمو تمیز کنم. I have to clean my apartment. So notice the ra here. باید آپارتمانمو تمیز کنم. Since we studied that last week. باید رخت بشورم. I have to do laundry. باید برگه های شاگردامو تصحیح کنم. I have to grade my students' papers. Let's look at all of these together. باید برم. باید تمیز کنم. باید بشورم. باید تصحیح کنم. So this باید, we use باید or its negative form, نباید, to talk about obligation in Persian. So this is like the English must, have to, and sometimes even should, or mustn't, shouldn't. باید never changes its form for I, you, he, she, it, we. It doesn't change. It's always باید or نباید. To form the subjunctive, we're going to use the stem of the present tense, the root, and then add be, our prefix be or bo, as well as the ending according to the person. So let's look at an example of this. Let's take our verb خریدن, to buy. We know that the root or the stem of خریدن in the present tense is خر. So if we were just to say I buy, we say میخرم. Remember, we add the mi. But in the subjunctive, we add be. بخر, and then we add the ending for the person. For example, I بخرم. So with the root with be or bo and the ending. Another way to think of this is what I've written in the second bullet point here. It's as if you're adding an ending to the imperative form, okay? So we form the imperative in a similar way. You might remember that with the imperative, we also take the stem of the present and we just add the be or the bo at the beginning. So we have here in the right-hand corner, بخر, buy it. That's our imperative, بخر. But for the subjunctive, you see all we do is we add the ending, بخرم, okay? So let's review all the endings quickly. من بخرم. تو بخری. او بخره. Remember, we write بخرد, that's the formal written way, but in spoken Persian, بخره. ما بخریم. شما بخرید. بخرید is the correct way, بخرین, the spoken way. آنها بخرند. In spoken Persian, بخرن. I will do a video also to somebody's request on the written versus spoken form soon. That's always a tricky part of learning and teaching Persian. Okay, a note about the verb kardan. We know that Persian has two types of verbs, simple verbs and compound verbs. When kardan particularly comes as a compound verb, as our example on the right, tamiz kardan, to clean, we can, in the subjunctive form, say it in two different ways. So kardan, our root kon, so our subjunctive, bokonam, tamiz bokonam, I clean. Or I can, when it's a compound verb, I can omit the bo sound and I can just say tamiz konam. So tamiz bokonam or tamiz konam, either option. When kardan is a simple verb on its own, we have to add that prefix bo, bokonam. So let's see this in examples to make it a little more clear. So in this example, do you have to clean? The example on the right, to باید تمیز بکنی. So here I've added بکنی. The one on the left, to باید تمیز کنی. Either one is correct, no difference. In the example I had given earlier, باید آپارتمانمو تمیز کنم. You can see I've chosen to omit bo, just تمیز کنم. But I could say باید آپارتمانمو تمیز بکنم. Same with this example. باید برگه های شاگردامو تصحیح کنم. I could have said تصحیح بکنم. But in this example, when we're using کردن as a simple verb, do you have to do it? تو باید بکنی. We have to say بکنی. We cannot say تو باید کنی. That's strange. As a rule of thumb, when in doubt, just add bo. Let's see some more examples. دوستم باید برای دوستش کادوی عروسی بخره. دوستم باید برای دوستش کادوی عروسی بخره. So my friend has to buy a wedding gift for her friend. So we see باید بخره. همسرم باید سر کار کروات بزنه. همسرم باید سر کار کروات بزنه. همسر is spouse in general. I've written husband here, but it's spouse in general. باید بزنه. شاگردام چهارشنبه باید امتحان بدن. شاگردام چهارشنبه باید امتحان بدن. My students have to take an exam on Wednesday. باید بدن. فردا صبح زود جلسه داریم. امشب باید زود بخوابیم. فردا صبح زود جلسه داریم. امشب باید زود بخوابیم. We have a meeting early tomorrow morning. We have to sleep early tonight. باید زود بخوابیم. نباید سر کلاس از گوشیت استفاده کنی. نباید سر کلاس از گوشیت استفاده کنی. You shouldn't use your phone in class. I wrote here, you'll notice, استفاده کنی. I could have said, نباید سر کلاس از گوشیت استفاده بکنی. Because استفاده کردن is a compound verb. A note about Persian sentence structure is that it's pretty flexible, especially in comparison to English. I feel English is a little more structured. There's more flexibility with Persian. In English, we know our basic sentence structure is subject, verb, object. In Persian, it's subject, object, verb. The verb typically comes at the end of a sentence in Persian. So with that in mind, take a look at this example. باید با بانک تماس بگیرین. باید با بانک تماس بگیرین. You have to contact the bank. So I've started with باید. باید با بانک تماس بگیرید. I could easily change the position. با بانک باید تماس بگیرین. All right, so now I've placed باید with the subjunctive together. باید تماس بگیرین. تو هواپیما کمربند تو باید ببندی. تو هواپیما کمربندتو باید ببندی. You have to fasten your seatbelt in the airplane. So you see that I've placed باید and bebandi together. I could have just as easily separated them. تو هواپیما باید کمربندتو ببندی. Now I've brought کمربندتو between باید and bebandi. I could have also placed it at the beginning. باید تو هواپیما کمربندتو ببندی. I can start with کمربند. کمربندتو باید تو هواپیما ببندی. Okay, all of this just to say that sentence structure is pretty flexible, so don't stress out too much about where you're placing باید in relation to the subjunctive in the sentence. It's probably right wherever you put it. Another example, سیگار نباید بکشی. You shouldn't smoke. سیگار نباید بکشی. How else could I form this sentence? Can you guess? If we move the positions. I'm sure you got it. نباید سیگار بکشی. نباید سیگار بکشی. So starting with نباید. And that's it for our lesson on obligation and using باید or نباید plus the subjunctive. I hope this lesson was helpful for you. Please let me know if you have any questions. And maybe write in the comments what you're up to. What are some things that you have to do in the coming weeks? If you enjoyed this video and it was helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Again, it'll really help support this channel and help it be seen more on YouTube. Thank you for watching till the end. I look forward to seeing you in future videos. And until then, خداحافظ.